Voters head to the polls tomorrow in Virginia after a month-long campaign to decide control of the state Senate. The key race there is south of Washington, D.C. in Prince William County, where Republican Hal Parrish is battling with Democrat Jeremy McPike for the open Senate seat that will decide who controls the chamber. McPike has enlisted the father of slain journalist Allison Parker, who has become a gun control advocate in his campaign.
Allison and her cameraman were gunned down on live television. I know we can't stop all gun violence, but we can save lives if our leaders take action.
Beyond the gun control portion of the race, Governor Terry McAuliffe's entire legacy is at stake, as a loss for the Democrats would give Republicans control over both houses of the state legislature.
The Democratic primary is well underway, and the next debate is on Friday. Our reporter Daniela Berson looked at the most important issues on voters' minds going on to the debate.
The primary debate is approaching, and the remaining three candidates once again plan to make their case for the presidency. Hillary Clinton has a significant lead over Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley coming into Friday's event. Whether or not she keeps that lead depends on the issues the candidates decide to stress at this debate.
Climate change, racial injustice, criminal justice reform, the fight for 15, and stuff like that, I think are really on the cusp of millennial ideals.
The candidates are making appearances around the country to boost their support.
To shut down the government, which some Republicans are advocating, over funding for Planned Parenthood, which takes care of millions of women's health needs, is just the height of irresponsibility.
I have been very strong in saying we have got to bring people together to end these horrific massacres that we're seeing. And I think as a candidate coming from a state that has virtually no gun control at all, I think I can do that.
I think it also touches a group of voters that might not always tune into the debate or tune into the traditional forms of interviews. So I do appreciate their efforts in trying to get out there through different shows. For example, I saw Bernie Sanders was on Ellen, and I thought that was a really nice casual way to engage with the public. But they should always remember to be focusing on the issues, galvanizing people to go out and do the real work that we have to get done right now.
Whatever their stance on the issues may be, voters can expect to have a clearer picture of the Democratic race on Friday. For District Wire News, I'm Daniela Berson.
Top advisors to GOP campaigns met in a closed-door meeting to take greater control of the party's debate process. Advisors of 11 presidential campaigns met in Washington and said they were prepared to negotiate formatting issues with networks that will be broadcasting future debates. Members said they were prepared to send a letter to TV networks informing them of their views and how the debates should look. They also suggested new demands for greater control over the content of debates. However, the main problem is the time given for answers.
I know that Harry Truman couldn't get elected president with explaining the United States of America's health care plan in 30 seconds.
The RNC will announce new changes in the coming weeks.
After talk of one Republican presidential nominee dropping out, Jeb Bush is kicking off a comeback campaign today. His revival plan starts with a 3-day, 3-state tour based on his new book, Reply All.
A leader is there with a backbone, willing to stay the course. Have a spine. Having a fight about big ideas is exactly what politics ought to be about.
Bush's new campaign will reach into his past as a Florida governor, telling his story through thousands of his emails with citizens, reporters, and state lawmakers. The new tour is called Jeb Can Fix It.
For the first time in 30 years, the Kansas City Royals have won the World Series. In Game 5 of the series, the Royals were down 2 runs in the 9th inning, and it looked like the New York Mets were going to win the game. The Royals stepped up and scored some runs in the last few innings, which led them to winning the game and taking the series. Many fans were thrilled that the Royals won the series and celebrated well into the night. One of the team's biggest fans is actor Paul Rudd, who has made it known he supports the team.
The World Series is the greatest thing that can happen to a community. It's towns like Kansas City that they really get behind their teams.
Rudd joined in on the festivities in the clubhouse with members of the Royals and got a shower of both champagne and beer, the team's way of celebrating the big win.
Dozens of Chipotle restaurants in Washington and Oregon remain under investigation after an E. coli outbreak linked to the Mexican food chain. 22 people became sick after eating the food since October 14th. No deaths have been reported, but 8 people have been hospitalized. 43 restaurants are temporarily closed and will reopen based on the investigation, which has yet to reveal the source of the E. coli.
A highly intoxicated woman is lucky to be alive after breaking into a zoo and petting a tiger on Halloween night. 33-year-old Jacqueline Eade entered the Henry Dooley Zoo in Omaha, Nebraska, and reached her hand into May, an 18-year-old tiger's cage. Eade suffered severe trauma to her left hand and was aggressive to the staff at the hospital. The Omaha Police Department released a statement saying, "Just in case you had any doubt, if you pet a tiger, you will most likely get bitten."
Well, what do you think about that? Reaching into a tiger, I mean, I've always loved furry and fuzzy pets, especially cats, but I don't know if I would reach into to try to pet a tiger.
I don't think it was a good idea on her part. I think she's lucky to still have her left hand, but I think she will rethink her decision in the future to not pet a tiger.
Maybe some intoxication may have been a factor in that one.
Most likely, yes.
And how about this weather? What do we think is on the forecast this week?
I think it's looking good. I heard low 70s, which is not really typical for November. But
I was just gonna say, I mean, November and we're in the 70s. That's kind of crazy.
I'm not complaining. I think we should go enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm Emilie, Ikeda.
And I'm Emilie Jeffers. You can find us at districtwirenews.com. Have a great afternoon.